Desk with Joe series. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave. This is amazing compared to where we used to be with the Help Desk with Joe. We're actually changing things up, turning into more of a podcast plus YouTube. This is great.
Yeah, this is a fantastic platform for us. You've done our technology work for Patch. We're a nonprofit, for those out there that don't know, that runs educational programs, and you've done our technology for the last 10 years or so, and now we're back to the business of Help Desk, which, tell you what, why don't you explain a little bit of Help Desk, and then we'll get into today's topic.
Okay, so with the old Help Desk was each week Dave and I would sit down with a tech topic, whether it be a product review or just the latest news and information. Well, this time around we're going to change it up. We're going to combine the best of both worlds. We're going to cover a topic in particular, and then at the beginning we're actually going to give you a little news coverage of the tech news that I feel that the ordinary person should know within what happened within the previous week.
Right, and you see a lot of that. That's your business. You do technology, fixing people's personal stuff, and then also doing commercial work. So you're in the midst of all this technology as it happens.
Right, and that's the thing with, if you look up just tech news, there's such a wide range of things that 90% of, to the common consumer, even on the business side, it doesn't apply to me. With these tech companies making, these agreements with these other companies and stuff like that, a lot of that doesn't really affect any of us. So cutting through a lot of that, get down to the nitty gritty of, okay, how's this personally affect me or our customers, actually helps benefit the person more than just a broad range of noise.
Right. Okay. Well, what's today's topic going to be based on?
Okay, the topic we're going to discuss is Windows 7. Microsoft basically killed Windows 7. I actually have a news story on that whole mess, but we're going to get to that in a minute about the whole Windows 7 and how to go from Windows 7 on.
Okay. So, and that's crazy because I know we're on Windows 10.
Yes.
Or at least I am.
Yes.
And that's you keep me up to date, so I know that much. What do you want to start with?
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get the latest news stories out of the way, and then we'll cover the topic. So first up,
news today.
Yes.
In Joe's world, which is heavy in technology. What's on today's news?
The first thing is Facebook, the almighty powerful Facebook. They actually released a tool called Clear History, and what that is Dave, have you ever did a Google search or looked up anything online, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's a Facebook ad that has exactly what you were searching for?
Yes, I order a lot of supplies for our after-school programs through Amazon, and as soon as I search and or order one, and then I go on our Facebook page, the ads pop up from exactly what I was looking at.
Yeah, and that's one thing that drives me nuts. Even if you just search for something one time for the next 6 months, it seems like you get bombarded with that same ad. Hey, are you still interested in this?
Right,
Look,
right.
we have this deal for you. So Facebook actually released this tool called the Clear History tool. And you go in your privacy settings, and you can actually look at this tool and actually see what websites you look at that are actually feeding Facebook information without your actual input, and you can actually have Facebook handle that. You can actually clear your history to help clean up your Facebook and then see what other options are available.
Okay, and that should give you fresh ads, for instance.
Right.
If that's what you want.
Right.
Yep. Okay. Interesting stuff, because the tracking port is on everybody's plate and mind as to what is being tracked and how much you see, and that's a great example of that.
Right, and that's what that tool does. It shows, okay, what websites are feeding Facebook that you visit, and what exactly are they feeding, and how do you want to address that? So it's kind of starting to give the tools back more to the users themselves on how they want their information shared out.
Nice. Okay. So what's next on the docket?
Okay, so the next one is Windows 7 and that whole mess. So Microsoft released last week the last farewell to Windows 7, the last batch of security updates. As a result, they had one minor snafu.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. With this last update, it actually broke something in Windows 7.
First, let me ask, how common is it that you deal with Windows 7? And I'm talking about in your capacity of fixing people's computers.
Well, actually, as of
Is that
today,
pretty common?
Yeah, before I came to the studio today, I was actually upgrading a system from Windows 7 to Windows 10. So actually, here lately, we're dealing with Windows 7 has been a lot.
Right, okay.
And
so people are still using it, it's still out there, it's still viable.
Right, well, because Windows 7, it was such a stable platform.
Right.
When Windows 8 came out, it left such a bad taste in people's mouth. Even today, they're still about half shy of going to Windows 10.
Yeah. That, and I think you recommended we jump straight over from wherever we were to Windows 10
Right.
when it came out to help us out.
Right, just be ahead of the curve because
Yep.
according to Microsoft, Windows 10 is going to be the last all end all of operating systems. They're going to release updates, completely for it, but Windows 10 is it.
They'll just stay on that platform and keep rolling.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's good news for everybody that's old school like me. You learn one system, stick with it.
Right. So this last update, what it actually did was it broke a lot of people's desktop backgrounds.
Oh, wow.
So if you had the desktop background set up as, like if you had the picture set up as a stretch, it would actually turn your entire background black. So,
That's not good. Nobody wants to see the black screen of death.
yeah, so that picture you had of your kids or that beautiful background, it's black now.
Oh, boy.
So Microsoft said, hold on, they was actually going to release it to companies that actually paid for extended support, and there was such backlash over that. Microsoft finally came back and said, okay, we'll release this last update to the masses, so expect one more update from Microsoft. It's not going to be anything major. It's just going to be to fix what they broke on this last update.
Gotcha. That's a lot of updates. So, from what you've seen so far, has it been a pretty good deal to get it fixed?
Well, they haven't released the update yet.
Right, but
so-
I mean, you think it's gonna.
Well, with Microsoft, it's a Pandora's box. You really don't
It's a
know.
toss up then? Yeah, okay. So hopefully everything will go well.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have any questions, call Joe and Cena. They'll fix it for you.
You'd be more than happy to. We'll just go ahead and
Assuming this last patch comes out and does what it's supposed to do.
yeah, and doesn't break anything else in between.
Yeah, there you go. You might lose something else. You never know.
Yeah, you're playing whack-a-mole. You fix one over here, and something else pops up over here.
So, and I think that's fairly common, right?
Yeah.
I remember from when we used to talk, it's fairly common that you have these little issues pop up after you get the fix.
Right.
And it just keeps rolling.
And Microsoft takes it on the chin a lot because Microsoft's the biggest company out there
Right.
as far as operating systems goes. But with any program you run and any operating system, even Macs have the same issue. So Microsoft takes it a lot on the chin, but there's a lot of other everybody runs into these situations.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's good that you're in the know and that you can share this information with other people, because the black screen of death, I'm sure, would give everybody the panic sweats.
Right.
And it's nice to know they can turn to somebody that says, "Okay, I can fix this for you."
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what comes after that?
Well, after that is that that once we get that last update, that's it for Windows 7.
Okay, and it'll continue to plug along then.
Right. So
Ooh, okay.
so the last news story is, Dave, do you remember the Nintendo Wii?
Yes.
Okay.
It had the handles, right?
Yes, yeah, that was the first console that came out with the motion controls that you had to actually
right,
move.
Yeah.
Would you believe that console actually came out back in 2006?
Holy smokes.
Yes.
And that's dated, because I know, that's when my twins were born. So they're 06s
Yeah.
and they're 13.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so Nintendo, I didn't know this until I actually read the story. Nintendo actually announced this past week that they are stop repair work on all Nintendo Wiis. Up to last week, if you had a Nintendo Wii, you could still send it to Nintendo for repairs.
Okay. Man, we're getting old.
I know.
And you have a daughter. How old is she now?
She's 3 now.
So she'll never even know of the Nintendo Wii.
Well, we still have
You
ours.
still have one?
Yeah,
But
oh, yes.
Okay, well, hopefully it won't break before she's able to get up and play with it.
Well, luckily I can get repair parts for it, so we're good.
do your own work. See, the advantage of being a technology guy.
Exactly.
You got it covered. Okay. Wow, that's crazy stuff to think that the Nintendo Wii is that dated.
Right. Yeah, I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, well, first I didn't know that they were still repairing it, but
Yeah.
then they actually said, they're killing off the repairs. I thought,
That is
wow.
a good point. They are still repairing it, even though it's 13 years old.
Yeah.
They're still doing we're still
Yeah,
doing
we're,
repairs.
yeah.
Huh. Interesting stuff. Usually we turned into a little bit of an economy where we just throw stuff away when it breaks and you buy the newest and best updated model.
Right.
It's good to know that people were getting stuff fixed anyway.
Right.
But if you got a lot of money in your Wii and a lot of games,
Right.
it would pay off to have it fixed.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
So that's all the news topics this week. So you ready to dive in the wonderful world of Windows 7 after we've already kind of
You've come out with the news of it. So yeah, now let's get into the nuts and bolts of Windows 7.
Okay.
And I got to admit, I don't know that I can remember Windows 7. but I'm getting older and my memory's shot. So, all right, Windows 7, let's do it.
Okay,
Tell me about it.
So Windows 7, as we already discussed, Microsoft has ended all support on Windows 7. And a lot of calls we was getting within the last month is, I have Windows 7, what's going to happen? Is my computer going to blow up? Is it going to shut off and never turn on again? So immediately throws people into panic mode. But actually what this means was Microsoft was supposed to stop sending updates, but as we reported earlier, that changed just slightly. So after this last update that they send out, Microsoft is no longer going to send those monthly security updates or anything. It's just going to, you can still run it, you can still go online with it, you can still run your programs, but eventually all the other software that you have on there that updates regularly is eventually going to be phased out as well. So over time it's just going to start aging itself out.
Right.
And as a result, if you're not receiving any security updates, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to cyber attacks and all that mess.
In your world, and that's the technology world, how relevant is that? I mean, I imagine, like you told us, if you're serious about your computer work and so forth, you want to be updated with the newest and best, most supported platform. Is that something that you think people should just go ahead and bite the bullet and upgrade to? Or would you say try to ride it out as long as you can until something happens?
No, absolutely not. If the only situation that I would suggest that you not upgrade to Windows 10 is if you had a computer that does not connect to the internet, because if you are connected to the internet, you are vulnerable.
Right.
And majority of the time, if you're connected to the internet, you're going to be doing banking or ordering online or doing something that puts your personal identity, you put your credit card information, puts viable information about yourself at risk.
Yeah. So that's pretty important, and I think that's a pretty powerful statement to protect yourself, do the best you can, and upgrade.
Right. And Microsoft has actually made it pretty easy. They still, even today, offer the Windows 10 upgrade for free. So if you
really?
Yes. So if you have a Windows 7 or Windows 8 computer, desktop, or laptop, it does not matter. You can actually go to the Microsoft website and download what they call the Windows 10 Creation Tool, and it will actually walk you through the steps of upgrading your system for free, so you don't have to actually pay Microsoft a licensing fee to get the new version.
Wow, that is fantastic. And I know you've said this in the past, so I'm digging 2 years into my memory. If anybody has any problems or questions, call you. Call you and Cena. You'll be more than happy to help them out.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And, that's the kind of stuff that I just drop off. Like I had my mom's computer, and I was like, yeah, Joe, Cena, here you go. A week later, you gave it probably wasn't even a week. 3 or 4 days later, you gave it back to me and said, there you go, you're good to go. That's the kind of stuff that is handy to have here in Spencer.
Right. And with the Windows 7 upgrading it to Windows 10, biggest majority of the systems we've done, we've had zero issues on, but just like anything else, there is a chance that you can run into issues. So we've had a lot of customers bring their systems to us to upgrade for them, just so if something does go wrong, it's in the right hands to know how to get you back to where you came from.
There's the age-old saying, if you've worked on it, I'm going to charge you extra, because it's hard to tell where it's at that point.
Right.
And I agree wholeheartedly. I've learned my lessons, and that's why, like with my mom's computer, I didn't even mess with it. I just dropped it off your house and said, okay, there you go, get your shop, and a lot easier that way for both of us, I believe.
Right, yes, because going from Windows 7 to Windows 10, this isn't just your standard monthly update. This is a major upgrade.
Right.
So there's the process of doing it's not hard, but if things go wrong, it can go very wrong very quickly.
Yeah, and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
So it pays not to be stuck. I've learned my lesson.
Exactly.
A long time ago, actually, so it's went very well for me after that, because I just give my stuff to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So lesson for non-technical people out there, don't mess around. Just find somebody that does technology work and let them handle it. Let the professionals handle it.
Right.
That's kind of across the board with everything.
But as always, if you plan on doing this yourself, this is the absolute biggest thing, and this is one thing that you and I have this discussion about all the time, is backing up. Please make sure you have a valid backup of all of your data.
Yep.
That is the biggest thing, because I get this same story all the time. I have all these pictures of my kids or my grandkids or vacation last summer, and I have no backups, and now my computer won't turn on. So then, they're expecting me to perform a miracle, which, we try our best of our ability, but, if I know that you have this backup, a lot less stress is on my part, and I don't feel as bad when I come back to you and say, no, your drive is dead, there's nothing else we can do.
Well, and like you were talking before the show, that sometimes that can be catastrophic.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody
absolutely.
loses 2 terabytes of information, you'll never get it back. And 2 terabytes is a ton of information. So you want that, and you want to be safe. And I know that you and Cena keep all our stuff backed up through Carbonite, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
It runs automatically, so I don't even deal with it. But.
Yeah. We are actually authorized resellers for Carbonite, which is not a sponsor of the podcast, by the way. That just being upfront with that, they are not a sponsor.
Yeah, right.
And it does it automatically. So the only time I get notified is when your backup's almost full, and then we have to make a few minor adjustments. But other than that, it just runs automatically, and
Yeah, I don't even see it or know anything about it other than when you call me occasionally and say, hey, we need to make a couple of tweaks, and you take care of it.
Right.
So wonderful stuff. I feel
absolutely.
safe, and I don't even have to deal with it.
Right. And that's the thing, when it comes to the data recovery side, it gets expensive real quick. I had one customer, they had their business data on there, and they brought their system to me, and luckily I was able to recover about 90% of their data, but it was expensive real quick because all the time and the programs we had to use. And it was actually cheaper than the alternative route, because the alternative route is we have to actually ship it out to a data recovery company, and a lot of those companies, they want $2,000 to $3,000 up front,
right?
And that's not guaranteeing anything.
That's just getting in their hands. And,
you have
look
to
at it.
you have to give them the money up front with the drive, and you're still you're hoping and praying for a miracle at that point.
Nice. I mean, not nice, but nice to know that there are options other than that by doing your backup.
Yeah, if you had your backup, it's just minor inconvenience, couple hours,
right,
back up and
yeah.
going.
And so good information across the board, and. For the people out there, is there any other information they need to know? And I know we're talking about Windows 7,
right?
Upgrading to Windows 10, or trying to ride out the storm,
right?
What other issues may people run into?
Literally the biggest one is the upgrade not taken correctly, and it can be a lot of things. It can actually be causing weird things to happen after the upgrade. I've seen one where the start button stopped working, or I've seen where it almost complete the upgrade and then it not works, so then it reverts itself back. So at that point, typically I've seen that on older systems.
Right.
That's over 5 to 6 years old. Some of them I've seen older, and it takes just fine. It's literally depending on the hardware. But at that point, if it will not take the Windows 10 upgrade, more than likely it's at least 5 to 6 years old or older. So you probably do a new system.
Yep. Okay. Well, you're getting it straight from Joe with A&M Digital Technologies here, giving us information and updates on Windows 7 and what to do either to upgrade or not upgrade, but what precautions you need to take and where Microsoft stands on it. Final thoughts, final information. What are we going to end with?
Just be sure you have a backup and have a plan B in place. If
I like that. Have a plan one way or another, and if you're not going to back up your information, and I'm going to quote Joe here, your plan is no good.
Yeah.
and I've heard that enough when I complain about the backup and my part in it, which is very little, but I still like to complain.
Right. So, and also don't be just with a plan B, just be prepared that you could possibly have to purchase a new system if it will not take the upgrade, just from the security standpoint.
Okay. Well, you've heard it straight from Joe here, and this is Help Desk with Joe. And I assume, like in the past, you're open to topics if people want to get a hold of you with questions, and if they want some information for you to cover in a future podcast, how they get a hold of you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Give us a call at our office at 304-927-3588. Check out our website at amdigitaltechnologies.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter and these videos, and you can actually go back and look at our old videos on YouTube as well. All of our social media is at AM Digital Tech. So please send us your questions. I did a couple of shows over the last summer on Facebook just by myself at the office, and had great response. And we actually had people submit questions, and that's one of the things we love. It makes our job so much easier. Yeah. If you send us your questions, we would love to answer them on the air.
And when we do the Facebook Lives, if people want to comment, we have Cale back here producing for us. He can also drop in any questions for you to answer as well.
Absolutely.
So we can do that live as well.
Right.
But mainly, if you have a question in the future and you want to see it covered, get it in there. Joe, you've been wonderful about bringing information to the forefront from people that are also doing commercial work, but also their own personal technology needs.
Right.
And I think that's a big bonus for folks out there. So
we're happy to do it.
Yeah, and we got to give credit the person doing all the heavy lifting in the background, Cena, your wife. So I'll give her credit, so I'll stay on her good side. So you guys are a two-person team there, working locally here out of Spencer, West Virginia, but also you do a lot of work statewide.
Yes, we
and
do
in
a
the
lot
tri-state region. So
yes, yeah, we don't stay in just Roane County. We cover a large area, so and we're happy to do it.
And I'm assuming you can remote in like you do with our stuff here. If I have a problem and you're on the road, you just remote in. So if someone needs that kind of coverage as well, keep in mind, and I'm just saying that for the dinosaurs out there like me that aren't aware of this new technology, it's pretty neat to have you remote in on my computer and fix stuff while I'm sitting there and you're somewhere else.
Right. Well,
and that's pretty neat
and
to
it
see.
decreases the return time as well, because instead of, the time of me coming on site and looking at the problem, 30 seconds I'm in your system, and if it's, a 2-minute fix, that saves time on both of our ends of the 15-minute drive in, just, 2-minute fix and 15-minute drive back to the office where 30 seconds I'm in the system, 2-minute fix, and I'm done.
And I believe last time you might have even been out of state. You were like Huntington or over Ohio. I don't even know, but you're like, hold on, let me get stopped here, and my next stop where I have good connection, I'll fix it for you. And you did. It was 2 minutes in and out, but like I say, you were a 3-4 hour drive away. So.
Oh yeah.
So that was wonderful.
Yeah, that's when we was in North Carolina. You give me a call.
That's right. Yeah. So
try
North
to take
Carolina.
a vacation.
So probably longer than that away drive. So
yeah, try to take a vacation, and you still have trouble.
So wonderful stuff. We really appreciate you, and we'll be back next week with another Help Desk with Joe. So this is episode 1 of a series that we're going to continue here with our Patch students, and it'll roll out on our Patch Turned Up radio station and go to all the good stuff that you forward them on to, Joe. You do all our technology work here and all the heavy lifting behind the scenes for our technology stuff here for our students. So do you have any idea on the topic next week, or are you still working on it?
Still working on it. It's going to be a surprise.
Be a surprise. All right. I like surprises. So good stuff. Okay. This is Joe's or Help Desk with Joe, and it's been 2 years. So I'm getting back in the groove. So Help Desk with Joe here on Patch Turned Up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining, and we'll be back next week with Joe from A&M Digital Technologies with more technology news, shows, and information, and answering any questions you may have dealing with technology. So thank you, Joe.
Thank you. See you next week.